Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction, haunted entertainment community. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just plain aficionado, we aim to be a podcast for you. And this week, we come to you again, feeding you your own stuff.
Yeah, basically.
You all out there wrote this, the vast majority of this episode, you all wrote.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't know it yet. Well, you might actually from the title. I guess you might have figured it out. Because this all comes from comments and questions from you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Conversations that were taking place last week, thanks in no small part to my excellently written, beautifully done question of the week. Epic. Just epic. And if you would like to see more of my beautifully done work, please check it. She's going to kill me. Please check us out at all the places we exist. HauntWeekly.com, Haunt Weekly on Twitter, Haunt Weekly on Facebook, and YouTube.com/HauntWeekly. Finally, find us wherever you get your podcasts from, and pay special attention to that Facebook page, because we have some announcements coming up that will be primarily there, hopefully, soon. Well, as we mentioned, every week we have a question of the week, and last week's question of the week was,
when going through a haunt, what makes you roll your eyes?
And this turned out to be a really popular question. So popular, they're actually just doing the episode on it. So we're not covering your answers here.
No.
We're going to skip you, come back to you, and do all the other housekeeping stuff first.
Yeah, and there were a lot of great conversations going on. So if you want the full conversations, go over there.
Yeah, Facebook.com/HauntWeekly.
Yes, as I was reading through them, I'm like, I have comments on this.
Yeah, and it was bad because I don't like using the term viral, because what is viral in our industry varies heavily.
Yeah, we're small.
We're small industry, but it got a lot of traction, and we started out trying to keep up with it, join the conversations, and then we just got steamrolled.
Yeah.
It just ran away. So if we didn't like or react to your comment, I'm sorry. It is not probably because we don't feel that way. Mm-hmm. It's because this was actually the fastest way to respond to them, was put as many as we could in this.
Yeah.
But that brings us to this week's question of the week. We're going to try the opposite.
Exactly.
What is the best thing or your favoriteest thing to see in a haunt?
Yeah.
Let us know. HauntWeekly.com, HauntWeekly on Twitter, HauntWeekly on Facebook, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to go into it. All right, we have two items. I don't want to say housekeeping, because neither really are housekeeping.
Yeah.
But we should discuss, I feel. The first is the unfortunate announcement from Brett Hayes that Fear Fair is closing for good.
Yeah.
That sucks.
It does. And it sucks. The reason sucks even more.
Yeah. We're going to have a lot more on this on the news episode, even if there's not actual news coverage of it, which I don't know why there wouldn't be. We're going to talk about it there and go into more detail. And we know we have some gaps in our knowledge here that we're hoping to fill, because we want to come back to this in future episodes. But yeah, apparently, according to Brett, and once again, we only have Brett's side on all this. I have no reason to mistrust Brett, but we only have Brett's side.
Yeah.
So take it for what it is. He says that they had a rock wall there, and someone slid past the staff to climb the wall, I'm assuming without properly fixing the safety harness and all that stuff.
They're like, I climb rock walls. I can do this.
And snuck past the staff, climbed the wall, and got injured.
Yeah.
And that person has filed a lawsuit against basically their insurance company. Mm-hmm. Now, their insurance company has dropped them, even though this is the first claim ever, and I don't see too many reasons the company should be worried. I mean, this is... Maybe I'm a simpleton. Maybe I don't know this area of law. But it seems to me if you literally bypass the warning signs and security and barriers and whatever else to use something without permission or a payment, I'm going to assume, you kind of take your life into your own hands a little bit.
Yeah, I'm surprised a lawyer took this case, honestly.
Yeah, because you actually worked in a law office, and slip and fall cases were the type of thing that came a lot through the door.
Yeah, and the problem is that you have to, prove intent. or
you had to prove some extreme negligence. Yeah. So either intent, which is you're not going to prove that, or some reckless negligence, which A is rarely happens, and B is impossible to prove even when it does.
Yeah, like a spill was down for days and like still wet and slippery or something.
Yeah, I mean,
and proof that you had reported it to the manager multiple times.
Or someone from the staff dropped the banana peel themselves, knowing it'd be a hazard.
Yeah.
Or whatever, and dropped it slippery slide down, obviously.
Yeah, and said, I'm going to put this here so that we can have a cartoon moment.
Yes, exactly.
And you got it all on video, and then that would probably stand up.
Yeah, and that's why
at least down here.
Yeah, then we don't know what the exact laws are in their state, but yeah, he apparently has tried repeatedly to get other insurers to take him. They refuse to do so, and so they've made the difficult decision to close. They're in the process of setting up a nonprofit and dealing with the sale of everything, but it's winding down now. Brett Hayes has asked for basically peace.
Yeah.
He's thankful that people are trying to suggest things he could do, but we've known Brett for a while now. Mm-hmm. A, he's a lawyer, and B, he's an incredibly smart guy. Mm-hmm. I can't think of anything that he hasn't already thought of 1,000,000 times, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even deign to offer advice. Mm-hmm. And he's not seeking it anyway. But yeah, so please, back off of him. Let him go. It's a hard time for him, I can imagine.
Yeah.
He seems to be taking it relatively well on Facebook, from what I've seen. But please, give him his distance. Let him deal with this. He's got some rough months ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do want to do an episode in the not too distant future about haunt insurance. This is not an area we're well versed in.
No.
So we want to bring someone on who can talk about it. So if you know anyone who would be good to speak to on the topic of haunt insurance, please let us know. You've heard me say all the places you can do that. We'd like, your suggestions for who to talk to here. Mm-hmm. And ideally, we would like someone with more of a focus on the haunt industry if possible. They can speak directly to that intersection. But obviously, anyone more in general business and liability insurance can probably help. That makes sense?
It does.
Okay, and the second thing, second kerfuffle, was we got plagiarized.
Yeah.
Now, I've said on other podcasts, and I meant it when I said it, and I mean it now too, that we don't mind when the topics and the ideas we put out there get picked up and run with.
Yeah.
That's not, is it sometimes a little frustrating for us to spend a lot of time prepping show notes on something, and then a week later we see it as a completely separate discussion on a different group or in a different podcast or whatever?
No.
And it's like, you could have at least done the slide. Thanks, Haunt Weekly, for putting this topic in my head.
Yeah.
But even without that, I don't care, because that's just our influence getting out there. That's right. That's not what happened here.
No.
That is not what happened here. I like the idea of us putting shit out into the ether and others picking it up. Would I sometimes appreciate attribution? Yes. But do I get angry when I don't get it? No. This was direct copying of our question of the week, and including the question of the week moniker.
Yeah.
Followed by the exact weird capitalization I did, the terrible phrasing of the question I did. Jesus Christ, Jonathan. Were you sober when you wrote that? I hope not, because you probably had a stroke.
Yeah. And chose the background.
Exactly, the background. It was an exact copy-paste. The same as if they had just shared the post.
Yeah.
And it was not attributed or linked to us in any way.
Or anyone.
And I ended up confronting the guy who posted it. Not sharing their name or anything. I don't really care. It's not that. But he said he got it from someone else who didn't attribute it. And you know what? That could very well be true. It's social media. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happened. But the main thing for me is that post got taken down. Fine. But here's the thing. With the question of the week and things like that, if you want to share it, our posts are public.
Yeah.
Just share it. And there's a very simple reason to do that. We can follow the conversation.
Yeah. We
can see. If you want to share it in the Hunters Hangout or whatever, or Hunters Toolbox or whatever group, do it. Please feel free to share. But that way we'll get an alert that it was shared. Mm-hmm. And we can go see what people are saying there and maybe include more stuff like that.
Yeah, because, I actually did include one comment that I saw that was before
the post
was removed.
And I don't know if the OP removed it or if the admins removed it. I don't know who removed it.
Right.
For the record.
Yeah, but I couldn't attribute the comment
or
get the exact wording because
if I hadn't seen this post by complete accident, I would have been completely unaware of its existence, and none of the people commenting on it would have, I wouldn't be able to include any of them. So one of the things we can do, we're a small industry, we should be attributing each other whenever we can.
Yeah.
Just in general. So, like I said, I stand by all the stuff I said previously about when our ideas get put out into the ether and all that. That's still great and fun.
Yeah, but grow on it. Build on it.
Build. Do new things, please. It's out there. We're not claiming ownership of that, our ideas. But man, that copy and paste stuff hits different.
It does.
It does. All right. Well, the next item on our to-do list is conference reminders. Yay! And I'll kick us off this week because I actually updated this one. Coming up June 8th through the 11th is the Midwest Haunters Convention in Rosemont, Illinois at the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center. The pre-convention bus tour visits Hush Haunted Attraction, Eloise Asylum, and Erebus. That's a damn good run.
Yeah,
that
sounds great.
And the Friday night haunt tour goes to the Old Joylight Haunted Prison. Jesus Christ, all right. That's once again good. There's after parties, costume contests, all that stuff you'd expect. Learn more at MidwestHauntersConvention.com.
Okay. June 23rd through the 25th, it's Michigan Haunt Fest at Munich, Michigan at the Oaks Campground. Demos and makes and takes. Meals are not provided because it is like a campground.
It's just a campground.
Yeah. It's a Saturday event and adults are charged $2 entry fee into the campgrounds. MichiganHauntFest.weebly.com for more info.
All right. After that, July 15th, then the 16th in Mesquite, Texas, is the Texas Haunters Convention at the Mesquite Convention Center, featuring a trade show floor, a costume ball, door prizes, and lots of other fun stuff. TexasHauntersConvention.com for more information.
Okay, and July 21st through the 23rd, it is Horrorween Con, Idaho.
Yeah, I just realized how you got stuck with the one that's impossible to pronounce on the first pass. Good job. Yeah. That was very good.
It's in Garden City, Idaho, at North Expo Hall at Expo, Idaho, featuring home haunting classes, woohoo, pro haunter classes, also woohoo, and costuming and makeuping classes. And the link for that is going to be IdahoHorror.com.
Yeah, I guys, I'm sorry. I know you're working with the state name Idaho. It's messing up everything here.
I mean, there's been jokes about that since the state was named. So,
Well, and when you're trying to do Idaho Horror, your tongue doesn't want to do those sounds. I've noticed that when I've had to read it in the past.
It's like, take your time.
My tongue just rebels at that collection of syllables, and I do not fully understand why. But yes, those are some great upcoming conferences for your summer haunting fun.
Yeah.
Tis haunt conference season, is it not?
It is.
All right. Well, that brings us at long last to this week's question of the week, or last week's question of the week, and this week's topic.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, y'all steamrolled us.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all steamrolled us. We didn't think this would get such a great collection of answers.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do is, first off, thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. You all are great. We love you all. So many good answers and comments. If we didn't include yours, just understand there was a billion other great comments not included too. It was a lot. But thank you all. So yeah, this is going to be... What we're going to do, though, is we're going to look at the conversations that happened and sort of jump in and chime in a little, I guess.
Yeah.
So why don't you kick us off?
All right. Paige Frutiger.
I just screwed you again without even thinking.
I know.
Freudiger? Sorry, Paige.
Yes, sorry, Paige. When someone may have noticed we're from another haunt and say rude things or just don't act, had someone tell me that they were missing their break because of us.
Oh, man.
How fucking childish. I mean, you're there to be a haunter. And this is a great answer because we've seen some actors handle it this way. Including actors we were working with. They're like, oh, well, the big haunt's coming through. We're not going to be able to scare them. We may as well just, jack off and not give our best. And then you see the opposite, which is what we do, is like, we're going to give the absolute best show we can.
We're going in real hard.
Yeah.
And both are wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Both are not good. Because, okay, go ahead. Sorry. I'll get to my point in a minute.
Okay. Well, like, I know with, whenever Haunt Con visitors came to our little home haunt the first time, we changed, and the second time too, we knew we probably weren't going to scare anybody.
Yeah.
These are haunters. It is hard to scare haunters.
It is.
But you can impress
We're picking out new curtains for our apartment. I mean...
Yeah. You can impress and you can entertain.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. You know, I got laughs from a couple of people.
Yeah,
and that wasn't...
But that's something you do anyways when people aren't getting scared.
Yeah.
That's your natural pivot.
Yeah. So
it's not like you did anything that you don't do for other regular visitors.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's kind of here's the thing. I think like 99% of haunters will agree with what I'm about to say. I don't think this might be the coldest take in all of cold takes. You ready? When haunters make time to go to another haunt, they're not working on their haunt or not working their haunt, and they go to another haunt, what they want is to be treated as close to a regular customer as possible. They want to see that haunt as it is being seen by its customers.
Yeah.
They want the OG, they want the original experience. They don't want you to all give up and just go, I can't scare him. I'm going to do this. And they don't want you to go hard or try out a new character that you think's more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They want the experience the regular customers get. Because we want to see your haunt as it is meant to be seen.
Yeah.
And I remember, this is going back a ways, but when House of Shock was still open, we went once with the Chamber of Horrors crew. Mm-hmm. And one thing people don't realize about House of Shock is when they were open, they had signs everywhere. This is a no-touch haunt.
Yeah.
Do not touch us. We will not touch you. Big fucking block letters set over the PA. This was like drilled into your head every second you're on the property there. Yeah. And understandably so. They obviously had a problem with that with customers. So, okay, fine. I agree with that. We go in, one of the first rooms. Mm-hmm. Guy in a pig mask sees us, picks me out for some reason, and literally just buries his face into my chest and pushes me against the wall.
No.
And I'm just putting my hands up like, hey, I am not touching you. I'm not forcefully removing you.
No.
You know, I'm not going to break the rules here. And he eventually gave up and left. But that's not something I can guarantee you. I can guarantee that's not something he did for regular customers.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
He did that because he knew we were from another haunt.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, we get the same thing because of whenever we were doing reviews, we would get different treatment if people recognized us. You know, it's always interesting to show up and then hear on everybody on the radios, they're here.
Oh, the garbage horror people.
Yeah.
We need to do more reviews.
Yeah.
We had so much fun with those.
Yeah. But it also, it can lead to dangerous situations. Yeah. Changing up the show can lead to injury. And the most scared that I've been after the fact was when a real knife was pulled on me because we were reviewers.
Oh, they're cool. They're cool.
Nobody's scaring them. I'm going to be the one to scare them. And they did it because it was an actual physical danger.
And it drew a tiny skosh of blood, too, the way it was pulled on.
Well, it left a mark.
It left a mark. Okay.
It did not draw blood, but it
You
left
did not
a
tell
mark.
me in the moment, and for very good reasons. Yeah. You did absolutely right to keep everyone alive.
Yeah.
You did absolutely right. So I didn't know about it until later.
Yeah.
Which was very smart on your part because, the Haunt Weekly would not exist if she had told me.
No.
At the moment. But yeah, I agree with this 110%. When haunters come through, don't treat them as special. Just give them the show. But on the same time, be sure you have pivots for if you don't get the scare.
Right.
Those are two separate things.
Yeah, and there's two other points here. One, if you are a haunter and you're going to visit another haunt, be polite.
Yes, thank you, Jesus Christ.
We were at a haunt we just happened to be there on the night another haunt was visiting, and we saw them take paintball guns and shoot buildings that were not part of the scenes. These were like the storage areas. You don't fucking do that.
Yeah.
And, and
this was for the zombie paintball attraction, to be clear.
yeah. Well, and the other problem is if you're not giving them the same show that you're giving everybody, we were in line right behind them. At that time, we were early enough, we weren't recognized every time we went.
Yeah.
So we were not recognized. And every scare was timed for the people in front of us. They weren't caring about where we were in line, and they weren't resetting for us.
Yeah.
And we were the next group, and it was frustrating.
Yeah. And that exactly is it makes a worse experience for the customers and does not make for a better experience for the haunters.
Mm-hmm.
It's all negatives.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on. Roberta McClellan said, "Silent stalkers." I'll just read the quote. "Look, you've got an opportunity to do something, but instead you walk alongside, and that's it. Say something. The weirder, the better."
Yeah. And then Japes chimed in and said, "Yep, one level energy is rarely successful unless you're constantly going for soft targets. That shit may work on some customers."
Yeah.
Who are already scared. And then he also gave a shout out to Remy Martin, who is largely silent, but awareness is off the charts.
Well, and just because your character is silent doesn't mean your character can't make noise.
Right.
You can bang things, you can jump on things, you can hit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can make noises a variety of ways. You can have a honk clown horn or some shit, right?
Yeah. And during opening night, or during the nights that were open, I actually play two sides of a character.
Mm-hmm.
The first one is talkative. Like, I talk to you whenever you're in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But then I hang back, just out of eyesight, just in that corner of your eye. Like, I'm still there. And the reason I do that is for safety. Because I need to make sure everybody's getting through. The actors are hitting their cues, especially the first few runs.
Yeah.
But that if anybody gets really scared, I bring a shovel with me and I scrape it along the ground as I run towards them. And that will get them moving, no matter how scared they are.
Effective for getting people out of a haunted house, and probably also effective as a laxative.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean,
but no, and that's the point. You're playing the role of a zone captain at that point.
Yeah.
You're basically watching to make sure everyone's hitting their marks, like you said, being there for safety, and those are your primary functions. And any scare function is secondary only if there's a problem.
Yeah, I'm just being weird and creepy in the background.
And this is after you startled. And I think one of the themes that comes up a lot in this conversation is people trying to use the distracts for the scare.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that Jace pointed out is that this can be a great distraction.
Yeah. Get
people looking over their shoulder. Oh, Jesus Christ, there's a person there.
Yeah.
And then, boom, other side.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and so you may not know it if you've met me in person, but I have quite a presence when I want to.
Yeah.
And I scare the crap out of people and have my entire life just by existing. I'm serious. Like, when I was a kid, everybody was scared of me.
Anyways.
It's not because I'm like the horrible person or anything. It's just that I have energy people aren't used to.
Yeah. Yeah. But I agree with this one. The silent stalker character does nothing but follow people close and invade their personal space.
Yeah.
I don't get that. I find it annoying. I mean, like Joe, I'm not even attempting your last name, Joe. I'm sorry, because I'm pretty sure I would
Pazowski.
I'm pretty sure we'd offend at least 4 countries. But yeah, just leave me and let me enjoy the haunt.
Yeah.
You had your moment. There's got to be a group behind me.
Yeah.
Why are you harassing me?
Well, and that is something that I do also. Like, if you seem cool and not scared, and it's not the first half hour of running and I know that everybody's hitting their marks, I'm not going to follow you all the way through. Because you're not going to be a problem, and I can tell.
Yeah. You shouldn't have to stay behind someone for that long to either get the scare or to make sure they're safe and passed into the next zone.
Yeah. And we should have warned people. Japes is going to be all over this podcast without being here.
I flashed the Japes symbol and I got Japes.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Dusty Lynn Morton said, running at me and stopping. Kill me or go away. Don't just stand there and scream or stare.
Yeah, okay.
And a runner-up is Black Walls.
Okay. Black Walls, we'll take Black Walls separate in a second.
Yeah.
The running up and stopping, I love this answer because this is an example of how even the best actors with the best timing can fail to get a good scare.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do their tactics properly.
Right.
Because, okay, if I'm running up to you, like say opposite ends of a corridor situation. Mm-hmm. So you're at one end and the evil clown's at the other, right? Mm-hmm. Evil clown starts charging. You've seen that clown running at you for 5, 10, 15, 20 paces.
Yeah.
Who knows how long. There's no surprise when they're in your face.
No.
There's none.
They're there.
You might not know for certain what's going to happen when they clear the distance, mm-hmm. but you know they're coming.
Yeah.
And that kills the surprise.
Yeah, I mean, it does.
You can do a lot of impressive things with a sudden stop and really intruding in people's space and all that. But it's what you don't have is the element of surprise that's so important here. Because they're expecting something unexpected, which means they're expecting whatever you do.
Yeah. Now, if the charging person is the distract, hey, great distract.
Yeah, I could see, like, going back to the clown thing, the clown in the hall. Uh-huh. Have the clown charge and have a drop panel right beside where they're standing, waiting for the clown to charge, and then just hit the drop panel right as the distance gets covered.
Yeah.
And just bam! Oh, that would be sweet. 'Cause you know where those eyes would be immediately. Yeah. Tunnel of fucking vision, right?
Exactly.
Oh, that'd be sweet. See, once again, the distract, it could be.
Yeah.
The startle, probably not. And Black Walls, yeah.
Yeah, and Jabe said, don't make a threat you can't follow through with.
Which is something he's big on, and I agree with.
Oh,
Don't say, totally. I'm going to murder you and throw you in the swamp.
Yeah, you're not.
No, you're not.
You would have gotten your haunt shut down if you did that. You'd be in jail somewhere. And Black Walls, I don't like that, and I don't like haunts that are too dark, because I find it personally lazy, but I am a designer. And I'm an artist.
Well, the Black Wall thing... it makes a haunt feel unprofessional. To see Black Walls.
To me, it feels unfinished and hurried.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like, I didn't have enough time to set this scene. I'm just going to put up some Black Walls.
And a lot of times that's exactly why they're up. Uh-huh. We've been to several haunts where we went, well, goddamn, there's a lot of Black Walls in this. And then we go and we find out that they had like 2 weeks to do it, and they pulled a rabbit out of their ass just to get done what they got done.
Exactly.
That very often happens, and I think the thing is, I believe pretty much all haunt builders agree with this. Mm-hmm. But money, time, and people. You need 3 things to build a haunt. If you run out of any of the 3, that's how Black Walls happen, kids.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean that one, it makes me roll my eyes less like at the haunt or the actor, but more at, this must have been a rough situation. This was a rough build.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't think... I've only been to one haunt where I genuinely believe they chose that aesthetic, and that was Bulow Fun Park. I believe that selection was the choice. It was intentional, and it was as fugly as stupid as it sounds, because they used all Black Walls. But hey, it was great to have a showroom floor of the Fright Props catalog for without having to go to Transworld.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, several people. We're just gonna bring everyone together here. Said the use of cliche phrases. Come play with me. Why are you here? Help me. Get out. Boo.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw boo in because I feel like I have to.
Well, okay, so you wouldn't have had to, but we heard it 3 times last haunt season. Like, I don't know that I had heard it.
Do you realize when haunters are called boos online, it's meant to be dismissive and derisive?
Yeah, it's just... Be more creative, people. I mean, come on.
Here's the thing. I really think for most haunt actors, what they would benefit from is not saying anything unless they want to snarl or something or do a generic yell. And instead, use your environment to make the noise.
Yeah.
Because A, save your throat. And B, it isn't like you're the best talker in the world. So
Yeah, unless you happen to be.
Unless you happen to be. There are some who are. And by all means, use the gift of gab.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. I have met a lot of great haunters, but the great haunters that were also great talkers, that overlap is not as big as you would think.
No.
The skill sets have only the tiniest overlap. So yeah, generic lines. And this is something that Japes is big on. This is something I know like John Farrell's big on here.
Yeah.
We've a lot of haunt owners are finally cracking wise to this. And are finally going through their haunt and telling people, don't say get out, don't do that, don't, correcting this. Find something else to say, fresh meat. No, not that. That's on the list too. And because the problem with it is, the real problem with it isn't necessarily that I hear fresh meat or get out once in a haunt. It's that if I hear it once in a haunt, I'm probably going to hear it 20 fucking times.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Find something that your specific character would say. If you got to say something, find something that really fits your character and is unique. No one but your character would say it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Be unique. Make it so that if anyone else takes that line, it just doesn't make fucking sense. And watch how that improves the reaction to your character. Because now you're given... Because once again, haunts are about subverting expectations. I'm pretty sure in the year of our Lord, 2023, most people expect to hear, get out, fresh meat, what are you doing here? Those types of things. Let's subvert that by giving them a whole lot of new weird shit to see, listen to.
Yeah.
We can subvert that. We know they're coming in with that expectation. Let's use it. And all we have to do is write some new lines and, like I said, make it unique to your character. You know?
Yeah.
I love that, and I really think this is an area the industry broadly needs to deal with. And please, if you're having an issue with all your actors saying one of these lines, go talk to Japes.
Yeah, and the other thing is that so phrases are like disease. Because everybody wants to use it and like spread it around.
Because nobody's creative.
Exactly. So if one actor says something and another one hears it and says, "Oh, that was a really cool line. I'm going to use it in my scene."
Yeah, so 5 minutes later in the haunt.
Yeah, it's like telephone or something. You got to put it into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I'm talking about John Farrell again. One of the reasons I really have a ton of respect for him is he went through his haunt multiple times. The night we were there, we saw him go through twice.
Yeah.
He went through on multiple occasions to check for shit like this.
Yeah.
How are their timings? How is their positioning? What lines are they using? And making corrections and adjustments. I love that. That is a real passion for the quality of the product.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I have mad respect for him doing that. I think that's something all haunt owners or managers should be doing. Don't just delegate that to your zone captains because they won't have the full picture. They know what's going on in their zone. Oh yeah, I've only got one person saying get out. It's not that bad. But if one person in every zone saying it, now you got a problem.
Unless you're the size of our haunt.
Yeah, unless you're the size of our haunt. Then it probably is. All right, next one.
All right. Maximus Christian Bryant said, haunters in pop windows who are just hanging their head, staring instead of resetting.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right.
I need a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, James chimed in and said, scare, reset, scare. And Jeremy Back said, this might be an issue with rookie haunters forgetting to reset and not being taught to do so.
Yeah, okay. Pop windows or drop panels, as we've always called them.
Yeah.
Is this like soda versus pop? Do different regions have different names for these? And we need a map of the United States to see what it's called?
No.
Okay, probably not. Regardless, yeah, we've largely dialed back on regular drop panels. We used to use them a lot.
Yeah, well, they were easy to build and they were cheap and
easy to build. They were cheap. They were good on safety because the actor is always physically removed from the customer and has an instant retreat space built in. And if you're unsure how good an actor's timing is, that's an easy scare to figure the timing on and just get it to work consistently if you do it right. So there were a lot of good reasons to do it, but we did overdo it to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That is a regret I
early
have.
years, yeah.
Our early years, we overdid. We don't overdo it now. We may, like, if we do a drop panel, it's going to be like that stall door.
Yeah.
That's a unique panel.
Yeah, I don't consider that a drop panel.
It has a similar mechanism,
yeah.
but in similar mechanics, same effect. But the mere fact it's sideways makes it feel totally different. I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, the issue here is sometimes groups don't space out the way you want. Even in the best timed and the best controlled haunts, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, for example, Crystal and I have had this routinely where we bump into the group ahead of us.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel like we're going through the haunt slower than shit.
Yeah, I know.
But apparently this shit's constipated.
Yeah.
So we hit the group in front of us, and then you'll see what they describe. Someone hits the drop panel, and they are trying to get the group right in front of us. But, of course, we're already in the hall.
Yeah.
And so we see them. So they don't reset. They just go, rah, 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 and hang their head out the window.
Or it's been, it's been built to where it's a more enclosed space and it's really hot. So they may be trying to cool off and not realize somebody's coming down.
Yeah. I will say, I think some of this falls on haunt designers. The comfort factor you discussed.
Yeah, haunt designers and haunt
builders,
trainers.
Yeah. The second thing, I think, because here's the thing: if you place the drop panel well, like around a corner is typically the best place, then even when groups get bunched, you can hit them multiple times with the same drop panel because nobody can see the drop panel. They can hear it, but they don't know what's around that fucking corner.
Right.
So as long as it's around a blind corner, you can actually rapid fire get people because they can't see it coming. Where in the middle of a long corridor, everybody 40 feet back can see it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a problem. So some of it's the haunt design. As you mentioned, a lot of times it's because those rooms do get hot. I know. I used to work one.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times it's just inexperienced actors who do not get drilled the reset part of it as they talked about.
Yeah.
So I think those three things combine. Japes. Now we're getting to Japes' actual thing. Yeah. Not just Japes responding and everyone else. Mm-hmm. Engaging without a plan. In other words, asking a question or making a statement, but with no follow-up if the customer engages back. Basically, if I go through a haunt, I don't negate. If they engage, I respond, and typically respond straight. I don't throw curveballs that should be hard to respond to. It's very clear when actors haven't planned or aren't quick enough to respond.
Yeah.
Rich Albrecht said, can this be taught? I'm going to jump in here and say no.
Yeah.
Here's
Japes also said no.
Yeah. And here's the thing, and this is I'm not a knock on anyone. Mm-hmm. Everyone's brain fires at a different speed.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you're smart. It doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't mean anything. Some people's brain fires really fast, and they're able to come with quick, witty retorts and and engage like that. Some people, they can be fucking geniuses, but their brain takes a minute to catch up to things. They cannot.
Well, and the other thing is if you have social anxiety, you're already overthinking everything that comes out your mouth. So that may take an extra second also.
Well, and see, the anxiety thing can actually work two ways. Uh-huh. One is what you described, where, you're overthinking, you're lost in your own brain anyway. Other times, you might have just sat there because of your anxiety during downtime or before a show, planning every possible outcome.
Yeah, I do both. And then when I'm thrown a curveball, I'm like, then my little hamster falls off its wheel.
But here's the thing, like, if you say, I'm going to lock you in a cage.
Yeah.
Once again, going back to don't make a threat you're not going to do. But I've actually had this happen in a haunt. And I said, okay, it wouldn't be my first time today. And I offer him to take me away and put me in the cage. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah.
Someone agreeing to do with what you just threatened to do to them should be one of the first responses you plan for.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone going along with it.
Yeah.
He could have just sniffed me and said, never mind, I don't want you stinking up the place.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an easy one, right?
It is.
Just take a quick sniff and pretend like I stink. That's okay. Yep. That would have been really creative, but no, this guy just blew his fucking mind. So either you have to really prepare and plan, which oftentimes you just have to do through experience, unfortunately, or just be one of those quick fire people. And honestly, not every haunter needs to engage like that. In fact, most haunters should not. Yeah. Because only one or two can do it at a time, realistically. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, to me, yeah, this is incredibly frustrating, and I get the feeling though that they put the wrong actor in that role.
Yeah.
Because if you're making this a highly engaging position that requires a lot of improv, make sure you've got an actor who can do that, even if they're not necessarily the best look or physical fit for the role.
Right. Yeah, and then that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
Like putting actors based on their skill set, not on how they look. That's a whole nother topic. We'll get into it one day.
Yeah. All right, next item.
Sam Farrell said, edgelord haunt tactics like being overly sexual, vulgar, violent equates to being scary, and it doesn't.
Yeah, we have not seen this one so much locally.
No.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
We did have one case where a Q-line actor went all in on rape humor, which was not good. Not good.
No.
But we don't really get that. This is, I think, as straightforward as you can get. I don't have much to add to it. Because I can't remember who said it, but if you have to be gory to be scary, you're not scary, was the original phrase. Well, I would also add, if you have to be sexual, vulgar, or truly violent to be scary, then you're not scary.
Yeah.
I think the same thing applies to that.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I agree 100% with Sam Farrell. If you can't get a good scare with content that would be rated PG or PG-13 at the most, you're not scary.
Yeah.
I think it's that simple. Adam Drendel said actors thinking that it's scary to scream in your ear as loud as they can. Also, when they make threats they couldn't possibly fall through. We've already hit that one.
Yeah.
So we won't cover that again. But yeah, the scream in the ear. Holy shit, do I hate that.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I am a special case here.
Yeah.
I admit this. I have, dropping some personal info here, I have severe eustachian tube disorder. Apparently I've had it my whole life.
Yeah.
I do not have functioning eardrums. Now, this has two impacts. One is it means my hearing is about 10 decibels worse than most people. I can still hear conversation. I'm not using a hearing aid here and don't really feel the need for one. But my hearing is objectively worse. And the second thing is, stuff like that physically hurts really badly because it's literally just straight rattling those tiny bones in my head.
Yeah. Do
not pass go, do not collect $200. It's straight into there. And I so fucking hate this. Because here, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and you may be thinking, well, Jonathan, why don't you just wear, earplugs when you go to haunts? Like, we're going to fucking remember that.
And also, then I wouldn't be able to hear the more subtle stuff in the haunt.
Exactly. No whispering.
Why don't I, so what, I'm supposed to wear earplugs when I watch TV in case a commercial is really loud?
Yeah.
Now I can't hear the fucking TV, asshole.
Yeah, I know.
And the thing is, this is a safety issue as well. Because some of these screams can get into the ultra-high decibels, including like 110 and above, which can cause hearing damage with 0 seconds of exposure. So, yeah, you could be actually damaging people's hearing permanently doing this.
Yeah, I think the worst... and loud noises in haunts is like a topic also that we should probably talk about at some point, because the worst instance that I've seen is we were put into a metal elevator and one of the really loud flashbang thingies was shot off.
Yeah, Alabama, man. What's wrong with you?
That was Mississippi.
Well, that's right, Mississippi. Sorry, it's Mississippi. I know I had the right haunt, wrong state.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, Mississippi, what the fuck is wrong with your state?
Yeah.
That was rough, and it was so loud, and it wasn't just us in there, it was our entire group. So it was like 6 people in there, and they detonated a concussive device, basically, and it concussed quite nicely.
Yeah, it did.
I mean...
And that's not scary. It's just dangerous.
It's dangerous and painful.
Yeah.
It is extremely painful. So, and as someone who is now very worried and very protective of his hearing, this is what I'm most afraid of when I go to a haunt these days.
Yeah,
literally.
Exactly.
I'm not afraid that I'm going to get physically hurt or that I'm going to fall through a floor or get trapped in a fire.
No.
I'm afraid that someone is going to harm my hearing, either by screaming in my ear or using a prop inappropriately. and that I'm going to have additional permanent hearing damage because of it. And I'm going to be inching closer to a cochlear implant.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's what I fear.
I know.
All right.
And finally...
the Hunters Hangout one.
Yeah.
Sorry to whoever this was. The post was deleted before we could get your attribution.
Yeah. They, so basically someone said, that the thing that made them roll their eyes was whiting up people of color who were not in clown roles. They said clown roles are possibly the only acceptable role. And they pointed out that when people of color die, they turn like tan, not white. It's not like they're sucking the color out of them, when you die. So white zombies or vampires just shouldn't exist. They shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah. We watched Blackula. We watched Svengoolie.
Yeah.
We got our education on black vampires.
God. Yeah.
But no, that was such a good comment. I agree with that completely because, I mean, and that's one of the things I would encourage haunters to do, especially the makeup artists, is to look at how, because like when you look at pictures of decomposition or, how bodies change over time, 99% of the time you're looking at pictures of white people. Yeah. And the reasons for that are varied. Yeah, if you're working with people of color and doing makeup on them, you need to know what you're looking for in people of color. Yeah. And that includes Black, Asian, Latinx, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
You need to know how those corpses are if you're going to try to corpse people.
Yeah.
And
do your research.
Do your fucking research is what it comes down to. It isn't about putting white powder on the black guy and making...
No.
Yeah, that was such a good point. It's not something I thought about because we don't do that kind of makeup.
No, not really.
It's not something that's really we've run into. But it was a very interesting concept, and it's something I'm going to be looking for real hard this haunt season when we go to other haunts. Yeah,
I've noticed it for zombies definitely.
Yeah.
And specifically the voodoo style zombies, and I can't put that in big enough quotes.
Air quotes, Jesus Christ. This is such a good valid point, though. I really love this one, and I'm sad that we don't get to attribute it. But if this was your comment, let us know, and we will do it next week because you definitely deserve some praise for pointing that out. No. Sorry that it was a plagiarized post you commented on, though.
Yeah.
Anyways, honestly, good answers all around.
Yeah. And there's been some more trickling in today after these were put together. So.
Still going. So we may, probably not a full episode, but may do some follow-ups if other great things come in. But I think that, honestly, these are things like 99% of haunters would agree are eye-rolling, even if they do some of them.
Yeah.
Because, because the thing is like, I roll my eyes when people give me special attention in a haunt because I'm a haunter or garbage whore or whatever. But I also understand that temptation when a haunt crew comes in that we're going to ramp it up,
Yeah.
I understand that.
Oh, yeah.
Fight the instinct.
Yeah.
Anyways, on that note, everyone, thank you very much for joining us. Greatly appreciate having you. Please check out more Haunt Weekly. HauntWeekly.com, Haunt Week on Twitter, Haunt Week on Facebook, and YouTube.com/HauntWeekly. You can also get us wherever your podcasts are distributed. That includes Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, whoever. I don't know. All the places are out there. But until next time, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And we will see you all next week, where we probably won't just take all your ideas and put it into a into an episode.
Probably.
We'll see you all then.